Happy Friday, everybody. Yes, welcome back to another episode of Made Man, the only podcast about Mad Men hosted by a former male model. And I am that former male model. My name is Mike. Thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for finding this show. Every episode of Mad Men, once a week, every Friday. And today, we are discussing episode 3 of season 2, The Benefactor. Or as I call, a Pete-free episode. No Pete. A little Peggy. A lot of Dawn. I think this is a mostly Dawn episode, and we get a little more of other characters. I think we got the most Harry Crane we've ever gotten. So that was really nice. We have seen him cheat on his wife and be kicked out of the house, and then get his wife pregnant and be able to move back in. But now we're seeing, a loving husband and someone with a little initiative. Harry Crane was in his office, and he accidentally got, when he got his paycheck, he got Ken Cosgrove's paycheck as well, attached to his. And instead of just being honest and giving it back to the mailboy, or bringing it over to Ken himself, he, being, curious, opened up the mail and was upset because he saw that Ken makes $300 a week, $100 more than he does. Now he realized that the envelope's screwed up, it's ripped. He tries to reseal it. He can't. He calls his wife just to say how upset he is. And his wife's like, just go ask for a raise. Like, you can't just do that. She's like, why not? Show some initiative, do something. She wasn't mean about it, but she was like, I'm not going to deal with you feeling bad for yourself. I'm going to hang up on you. And he figures, okay, he calls, he went to Sal to see if he could make an envelope. He's basically calling around looking for envelopes so he could replace this. Sal's like, just throw it away. They'll just cut him a new check. Oh yeah, that's right. But at that point, he realized that he said it to too many people how nervous he was and upset he was about getting a raise. And he said to Sal, he said, I can't believe he makes that much, because we have wives. And I did not realize at that point that Sal is married. He has a wedding ring on. And I remember earlier was it late last season or earlier this season, where he was sitting on the couch watching TV with a woman. That's his wife. So that's interesting. I'll just say that because we did see the guy from the lipstick company say hi to Sal later. He's like, "Hi Sal, how you doing?" He's like, "Very good, thank you," because he wanted to hook up with Sal, because he got some vibes off Sal that Sal say are just not true. But let's be honest. I'm jumping around because that's what I do. I jump around because I literally just finished the episode, jumped up, grabbed my phone, went outside. It's cold. The leaves are falling. It's November, but I am trudging ahead. I only have 10% left on my phone, so hopefully I get enough done. I get the whole episode done for you, my faithful, loyal listeners. I also just ate breakfast, so I got a little cough in my throat. Now, Harry was also, he got upset to the point where he called his friend over at CBS to talk about maybe possibly going over there, and the guy's like, look, it's not that great over here either. Or maybe CBS is a client of this guy. He's like, that's not great. It's not that great over either. We have a show no one wants to sponsor that's dealing with abortion. They say abortion like 30 times in 50 minutes. And Harry's like, send it over here. Send it over here. Harry ends up making a pitch to the lipstick company about putting their advertising in the show. It doesn't work. The lipstick company says we're too wholesome. We can't do something like this. But he liked the idea of the initiative, and even Dawn gave Harry a pat on the back, it was worth a try, and it gave Harry the balls to go right into Sterling's office, and he's basically, no. So he went into Sterling's office because he's like, you wanted to see me, sir. And I guess word got around of what Harry was saying about Ken Grosco's check or not making enough money. It got back to Sterling. It got back to Cooper. Cooper wanted him to bring it to Sterling and actually reward him for the initiative. He's like, I guess you're getting rewarded, so here we are. What do you want? He goes, I want there to be a TV department, and I want to be the head. And Roger just gives him the sign of the cross and goes, there, listen, you're head of the television department, which comprises of... He's like, I also like a raise. He's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. He goes, how much do you make? He goes, I make $200 a week, plus free drinks. And he clinks a little drink with him. But he goes, I want $310. He's like, no one makes that money. $225, take it, say yes. He did. He got the raise. He got his own department. So he seemed pretty happy. Went home. He was happy to tell his wife. His wife's like, what's the TV show about? He's like, it's just a TV show. You wouldn't be interested. It's just a TV show. I think he didn't want to tell her about the whole abortion thing because she's pregnant. I don't know if he thought that would upset her. I think. That's my assumption. I don't think there was anything more like he's dreaming about it. He wished she would have one, and that's the whole thing. I don't know. These things go through my head. But that's Harry's story. We can push that aside. The real main story was Dawn having to deal with an actor who's shooting commercials. So they want to shoot a commercial for Utz potato chips. They have this comedian who is an insult comic, and he's on the set. He's a little drunk. He's talking about nuts and Utz for nuts and doing like hamming up humor, and they bring the Utz potato chip people in to kind of see what was going on, and the Utz potato chip. The husband and wife, the wife was a heavyset woman, and he starts doing his insult comic thing and talking about Pinocchio's whale, talking about the Hindenburg, saying all these things, getting her upset. And it's like, that's what I do, that's my thing. And it really upset them. And they were talking about maybe pulling him from the ads. And Don had to deal with all that. Don had to end up being the middleman, dealing with the Utz potato chip people and this comedian, Jimmy something or other. But really what he had to deal with was Jimmy's manager. Now, this woman comes in, she goes, I'm Jimmy's wife. He goes, I thought you were Jimmy's sister. He goes, Jimmy's wife, Jimmy's sister, I'm whatever you need me to be. So I don't know if that means she's just Jimmy's manager. I don't know if that means that Jimmy's a closeted gay guy, and she's the beard, so to say, so that he can, but it can't be, because the way, unless Jimmy's overcompensating the way he talked to Don Draper's wife, Betty there. So it's probably just that they just have a relationship. So Dawn goes to her, talks about making him apologize. She's not really into it. Like, she's like, we don't have to apologize. This is what he does. And Dawn ends up taking her for a drive. But while there's a hailstorm, he basically bangs her in the car, or does something with her in the car. Because the moment he gets home, he washes his hand and washes his mouth out, I think with soap also. And then he says hi to Betty and the kids. Meanwhile, Betty is off riding horses with the aristocrats of like very Connecticut-looking people, and like her and another woman ride horses, and there's a young fella who also is riding horses that they snicker at. He's handsome, but he's not very smart at riding horses. But he's riding horses to impress his fiance and her family, but he doesn't really want to do that. What he really wants to do is get going with Betty, because he finds his fiance boring. He finds his fiance as, just like the same thing all the time. And Betty's a little older. Betty's more exciting. He actually tries to get with Betty, and she blows him off. She didn't go for it, and she was a little frazzled when she's lighting a cigarette. But I don't know if this creep's going to be in it a little more. I don't know how much I care about the horse riding people and this guy, but it is giving more for Betty to do. She doesn't want to ride horses with her kids. She wants to ride it with adults. So, I mean, God, did I talk about the episode that quick, that fast? I mean, Don, he ended up, they went to dinner later with the Utz potato chip people to get an apology. And the guy comes in and he's talking to Betty, because they had Betty there, the Utz potato chip people, and this guy Jimmy and his manager. And his wife, manager, whatever you want to call her. And they're talking, and this guy's really just paying attention to Betty. He's not apologizing at all. And the woman gets up to go to the bathroom, and Don's like, please excuse me. And he goes up to the woman, and he's like, when's he going to start apologizing? She's like, look, I looked at the contract. He doesn't need to apologize. And if he's going to apologize, he wants more money, $25,000 more, or something crazy like that. Don grabs her, pulls her hair in like a seductive way, sticks his hand up her dress, and he's like, she's going to do exactly what we want them to do. I was like, what the F, Don? And this woman was like, oh, flustered to the point where she went back. She's like, Jimmy would like to say something to you. And she basically did what Don told her to say. And the guy apologized. And she goes, I know who you are. I know the type of comedy you do. I guess I just don't have the stomach for it. And the look on this guy's face, like he looked away and bit his hand. It was real quick and sort of like he's trying not to follow up with that. But I get that sometimes because I like to be sarcastic sometimes. Sometimes I'll think of things and I'll say them. Sometimes I'll think of things and I'll be like, oh my God, you can't say that. And you just got to shut up. So I thought that was really funny. And then at the end, Betty was kind of crying on the ride home because this is the type of life she envisioned, being with Don, being partners with him. Meanwhile, Don's, in the back, basically with his hand up this lady's dress. And Betty's so proud to be his wife. Did I cover everything? I feel like, I've talked only for 10 minutes or so, and I feel like I covered almost everything in the show. There was no Pete. There was a very little Peggy, so they did focus on Peggy they screened the TV program, the show about abortion to the sponsor, the possible sponsor. And, they talked about a woman giving up a child or having an abortion or, having a child at 18. And they just kind of zoomed in on Peggy. You could see that it was affecting her. And my God, I think that's it. I'm trying to go from character to character to see if I've missed anything. Sterling, he just kind of was there to talk to Don. He was there to talk to Harry. Ken was only there, it was a lot of Harry and mostly Don and Betty. I think I covered the Benefactor. I assume the Benefactor obviously is the sponsor. That's who covers everything. Yeah, I'm raking my brain, and I'm thinking about, I think I've covered everything. Oh, wait. I almost forgot. At the beginning of the episode, we saw Don Draper at a movie theater. He was watching French cinema in French. And I couldn't help but think that made me, that he was kind of thinking of Rachel. Wasn't she off in Paris, I believe? So he misses her. I think that was his way of kind of trying to not reconnect with her, but just to like think of her, or maybe he went there to think of her. I don't know. That's just a thought. Could be just that he was doing research like he said he was doing, or whatever he said he was doing. And also, he missed a couple people here and there that were trying to look for him, and his secretary didn't really cover for him as much as he kind of demands. And he was like, you don't cover for me, or it was like she just wasn't working out, and she's very skittish and very nervous. She didn't have the chutzpah that Peggy has, and Don basically fired her. He didn't, I don't know if she's fired completely, because he's almost like, you should be back doing the telephones. Shook her hand and said, please let Joan know. And for the time being, Joan is going to be his personal secretary, and she knows everything. She knows exactly what to do. She remembers how he likes his coffee. So I completely forgot about that, and I just wanted to mention that because I knew there was something else going on in the show that I meant that I was missing out on. But anyway, follow me on Twitter at MadeManPod, Facebook's Fans Not Experts. And that's it, man. You can find us at fansnotexperts.com/mademan or anchor.fm/mademan. We're on iTunes, we're on Stitcher, we're on Google Play. We're everywhere you can find podcasts. If you're looking for a Madman podcast, we are the one. We are the only one, again, hosted by me, a former male model. It's chilly. I need to start my work day. Happy Friday. Have a nice weekend, everybody. And I will see you again next Friday. Same bad time, same bad channel, as I go on an adventure to become a made man.
Fans Not Experts.